It has been more than 300 years since the first stones were laid at Lydonum. The Lydonian Empire has reached new heights of prosperity and power. It now extends far beyond the fertile valley, deep into the deserts of the south and through the forested expanses of the north. With most of Verulia under loose Lydonian control, and the Sindrian border cities run by puppet governors, for the first time in more than a decade, there is relative peace. The Pax Lydonum, as some now call it, has held for 5 straight years. But the harmony and splendor that the Empire now enjoys came at a great cost. When Lydonian legions crossed into this land some 20-odd years ago, it was an unprecedented violation of sovereignty. Emperor Vacus Lydon, emboldened by a strange vision and encouraged by his religious advisors, launched simultaneous military campaigns in both the north and south of the continent. He was convinced that it was his destiny to unite the northern and southern peninsulas under the Lydonian banner. Despite warnings of strong anti-imperial sentiment in both Verulia and Sindria, he proceeded boldly and, some would say, recklessly. The results were quick invasions, but 2 long, bloody wars, one of which still rages to this day. To the south, the Sindrian Free States joined together in opposition, forming the Sindrian Confederacy. The Lydonians underestimated the organizational prowess and advanced military technologies developed by the Sindrians. Lydonian commanders had little understanding of Sindria's desert topography, which the Sindrian generals used to their advantage. The Verulians, on the other hand, were slightly more primitive than their southern counterparts in their military and political structures. With Lydonian forces knocking at the door, they called a meeting of the chieftains to address this threat to their sovereignty. The Great Council, as it was later named, united the tribes and organized their warrior bands into 3 army groups, known collectively as the Armies of the Vale. Maltadrokan, the chieftain of the most powerful of these tribes, assumed control of this consolidated force. It took only 3 months for the Lydonian generals to realize how unprepared they were to fight 2 wars at once. The Sindrians, well armed and protected in their sandstone fortresses, repelled wave after wave of Lydonian infantry. Small, highly skilled guerrilla groups assassinated key officers and sabotaged Lydonian supply lines. Despite their overwhelming advantage in numbers and resources, what was meant to be a quick annexation became a painful and protracted conflict. The Verulians, on the other hand, had neither the technology nor the geographical advantage that the Sindrians enjoyed. Lydonian troops moved up through the peninsula rather quickly, limiting their destructiveness by order of the Emperor. The last thing Vacus wanted was more young, disenfranchised Verulians joining Maltadrokan's army. The Lydonian invasion of Verulia culminated in a series of large battles in a region known as the Radiant Terrace. This is a land of steps, rising and falling at various heights, giving way at times to huge open valleys. It was there that the armies of the Vale made a series of desperate efforts to repel the Lydonian invaders. Verulian mages activated ancient artifacts of immense power, scarring and twisting the land. After the dust had settled and the smoke had cleared, the terrace was unrecognizable. Its fish-filled lakes were now gaping pits of dust, its lush prairies reduced to cracked expanses of bone and ash. Not only was the land ruined, but it had become infected with some sort of presence. Something malevolent. Soon after the official Lydonian annexation, word began to spread of the artifacts used in these final battles, and of their immense value. Explorers, adventurers, and treasure hunters flooded into the former steps of the terrace, eager to secure their fortunes amongst the scattered corpses and broken earth. Days, weeks, months passed, and many of those who had set off for glory and riches had not returned. Expeditions were mounted to find them, but few of those returned, and of those that did, any attempts at conversation were met with wild eyes and strange grimaces, laughing, cackling, screaming, an all-consuming madness. Thus the terrace was renamed the Laughing Wastes. It has been 8 years since the last official expedition was sent out. The Empire banned all civilian passage almost immediately after the war, but their reach only extends so far, and some still slip past the patrols, dead set on the treasures lying in wait. Most are never heard from again. Some may get lucky, but only time will tell.